Hello and welcome to ReginaldESQ. I'm Underhook and this is my review of the American Tier 6 medium tank, the M4A3E2 Sherman Jumbo. So is it any good? Yeah, it's not bad. I do apologise for that. Hopefully your ears have recovered. And yeah, it's not a bad tank. Probably prefer the Easy 8 to this, which is the other Tier 6 American medium tank. And I will compare it in Tank Compare a little later on so you can have a good look at that. But this tank has 760 hit points, which is around average for a Tier 6 medium tank. Weighing in at 33 tons, it's a little heavier than average, but still you can't ram those Germans. They're very heavy. The VK3002M is 42 ton, but the Cromwell is only 28, so you can ram that. Speed wise, it's listed as being 35 in forward and 15 in reverse. Now these speeds are accurate, it does do that speed on the flat, but 35 is very slow. It's the slowest of any Tier 6 medium. The next slowest would be the Cheeto at 45, so it's a lot slower. And its reverse speed as 15 is the slowest in reverse. The next slowest would be 18. So it's a slow tank. It moves like a heavy tank, and it feels like a heavy tank. And it does have heavier armour. It is actually fairly similar to a heavy tank in armour. Probably not quite as good. Now it has a track traverse of 32 degrees a second, which is not very good. It's below average for a medium. The worst in class is the VK3001P. That German tank only has 28 degrees. But the best in class is the Russian A43 with 44 degrees a second. Now the turret traverse of 41 is also average. And once again, the best in class is the A43 with 50 degrees a second, and the worst is the Panzer II Premium with 25 degrees a second. When I said the A43 is the best, also the Cromwell and Type 58 also have a 50 degree turret traverse. View range of 370 meters is the equal best, but half of the tanks have that view range of 370 meters. The worst in class is the Premium Panzer 5.4, which has 350 meters, so it has good view range. Signal range of 615 here is pretty good. It's not the best in class, but it's not the worst in class. It is pretty good. Camouflage wise, this tank is not as good as the Easy 8, and it's okay. Look, it's probably not as bad as the German tanks. They're probably a little worse. But it's not good. Gun depression wise, this tank has good gun depression. It has 10 degrees of gun depression, which is pretty good. The best in class is the Easy 8 with 12 degrees, and the Cheeto also has 10 degrees. But because the Shermans have the turret mounted either in the middle or behind the middle, and this particular one, I think it's slightly behind the middle of the tank. So there's a lot of tank in front of the gun, which means the gun depression is harder to use. You have to sort of expose the top of your hull. Not as much of a problem in this tank as it was in Easy 8 because the hull is stronger, as I'll show you in Tank Inspector soon. So let's have a quick look at the grind for the Tankaroonie. So I went straight to top engine, straight to top radio. Now, the tracks do take your track traverse from 30 to 32, which isn't a big deal, but you do need them to get... actually, I don't think you need them to get the turret, but I think you do need them to get the top gun. Now, you do start off with this howitzer gun, which I think is the same gun we had on the M4, and with the tier higher now, it just isn't good enough. It just doesn't do the job. So I didn't even bother using it. It's just, yeah, a tier higher, the armor's too thick now for that howitzer gun. The M1A1 is a trusted gun, a good gun. And I will show you that gun, and I'll tell you why in a second. And then you go to the M1A2. Now the M1A2 is basically obviously just an improved version. It has the same penetration, which is 128 millimeters of penetration, and the same damage, which is 115 hit points of damage per shot. With Premium, you can do 177 penetration and the same damage of 115. The advantage of the M1A2 is it has a higher rate of fire. So it's 18.18 rounds a minute versus 14.49. so it's a fair bit quicker. The other major advantage is it's more accurate. So it's 0.40 versus 0.43. Now, neither of those is good accuracy. The 0.43 is pretty bad, actually, and 0.4 is just bad. The aiming time's the same, no 2.3. So obviously this is a better gun. However, the upgraded turret is not as well armoured. So if you look at here, it says 76, 50, 50. Look at this one, it says 152, 152, 152. So the stock turret is a lot more heavily armoured. So you do have a choice here. You can keep the stock turret and use the M1A1. It has the same pen and the same damage, but lower rate of fire, lower accuracy. Or you can get the upgraded turret and go for the higher damage per minute. It's just a choice that you make. However, you do have to get the turret if you want to get to the T20 or T29 from this tank. Speaking of that, I'll just have a quick look at the tech tree so you can see what happens here. You go from the M3 Lee, then you can either go T1 and up to the heavy line, or you can go up here to the M4, and from the M4 you've got a choice to go for the Easy 8 here or the Jumbo here. Now, if you go the Easy 8 way, that takes you basically into the dedicated medium line right through the Tier 10 pattern. If you go to the Jumbo, you get a choice. You can go to the medium, or you can duck down into the heavy tank line. So a lot of people will probably take the Jumbo because of that, but I think the Easy 8 is probably the better tank. Okay, let's get into Tank Inspector, have a look at that. But before we do, I'll talk about it. My crew is fully trained, and my commander has 6th Sense and is working on recon. This guy has Snapshot and is working on camouflage. That's the gunner. The driver has Smooth Ride and is working on off-road driving. The radio operator, Situational Awareness, boosting view range, and is working on camouflage. And the loader, I think it is, has camouflage and is working on firefighting at the moment. I have binoculars, camouflage net, and vents fitted. It's probably not the ideal loadout for this tank. It's not a sniper, so you probably might want to put coated optics on and maybe a gun rammer, something like that, or even a gun lane drive. Probably a gun rammer would be good. I have a small repair kit, large repair kit, and large first aid kit fitted. The Sherman Jumbo in Tank Inspector. Now, the biggest plus about this tank is its armour is very good for a medium tank. So the lower hull, as we see, is 139mm. I'm pretty sure it was about 101 on the Easy 8. And it does extend into the sides. So it's not as good on the sides, 114 in the sides here, but it's still pretty good. So people taking tracking shots, say from here, are going to have a hard time actually damaging the tank at the same time. So it's quite a good setup there. The upper hull is 102, and I think it was about 67 on the Easy 8. So you can see that the front of the tank is very well armoured, and if you're coming over a hill, they're going to be shooting up at this. So you can see we're getting pretty good equivalent armour values there. It is quite good. And in your own tier, like against another tier 6 tank, so long as it's not a heavy, it will bounce, like a lot of mediums and lights and stuff like that. It will bounce them, especially if you're sort of angled like that. Now, the turret, the mantlet is very good, 178mm over most of it. It's a little bit patchy, but there we've got overlay, 170 over 51, you can see on the edges, so it's pretty good. Down the bottom here we have 76mm, which is the same as it was on the Easy 8, and the roof is 76, same as it was on the Easy 8 as well. And the cupola is also 76. Now on the Easy 8, it's not as good as that. On the Easy 8, the cupola dropped down to 51, I think. So on the Jumbo, the cupola is tougher. Other than that, actually, the turret is identical in every way to the Easy 8. It's only the cupola's tougher on this one, which is a good thing to have tougher when you're hill fighting. The sides are 51, and people do definitely aim for these side cheeks and shoot at these side cheeks on your turret. People know this is the weak spot and they shoot that spot on your turret. I have got a game where I had about 5 shots all lined up on that area of my turret, and it was different people shooting it. Now the sides of this tank are also stronger than the Easy 8. We've got 76mm here. Down the bottom we've got 38, which I think the Easy 8 has 38 up top as well, whereas this has 76 up top. So you can side scrape fairly well in this tank against lower tiers. The side of the turret is 51 and the rear is 51 as well. There is a weak spot here on the side, which is 45, but it wouldn't be worth aiming for. On the rear we've got 38mm, so pretty easy to pin on the rear, and that's the same I think as the Easy 8. The roof is 19, which is about the same. I think it's 20 on the Easy 8. And the roof is 25, a little bit stronger than the Easy 8 as well. Now, that said, even though the top deck is not too bad, and it's 38 here on the front, which is quite good, so it's much more heavily armoured, but artillery still wrecks this tank, and I found I got hit more often in artillery in this tank than, say, the Easy 8, but that's mainly because this thing is so slow. Artillery does hit it quite easily. Now, I think I'll just show you the standard turret in case you want to use the stock gun. You can see here the standard turret is 152 mils of goodness all around. Even the cupola is 152 mils, and the mantlet is the same as it is on the secondary turret, 178. It's very flat though, and in places it's 178 overlaying 152. So it is a brutal turret. It's 152 all the way around. So if you're the kind of person who reckons you can keep this thing hulled down, you might want to stick with this turret and have a gun that is less accurate and doesn't fire as rapidly. That's your choice. Well, I'm going to nip into tank compare now. Compare this to the Easy 8 because it is a bit of a choice people have at this tier. But basically with this tank, I found that if I was top tier and there weren't many heavy tanks on the other team, I could use this basically as a heavy tank, and it does pretty well. As long as you angle it, you will bounce a lot of the other tanks. However, in games where there's tier 7 and 8 tanks, the armor doesn't really make any difference anymore. And I just found that I would rather in those situations be in the Easy 8 because you had the maneuverability that you don't have in this tank. So, yeah, this is probably a bit better than the Easy 8 when you're top tier, and worse when you're tier 7s and tier 8s. Alright, so having a look at the tank compare, we have the Jumbo here on the left, then we have the Easy 8 here in the middle, so they're the two tier 6 mediums. Then I have the tier 6 heavy, the M6 here on the right, just for comparison purposes. So I have all the top modules fitted, and we can see that the Jumbo has 10 more horsepower than the Easy 8. It does 35 kilometers an hour and forward. The Easy 8 does 48, so the Easy 8 is a lot faster. Interestingly, the M6 heavy tank also does 35 kilometers an hour, so the Jumbo is the same speed as the heavy tank, although it is faster in reverse. That's something, I guess. Now moving down here, we see that horsepower per ton ratio is 15.56, which is not as good as the Easy 8 at 17.21, but it's also not as good as the heavy M6 at 16.43. So it has a worse power to ton ratio than the tier 6 heavy tank. The track traverse of 32 degrees second is way worse than the Easy 8, but it is a fair bit better than the heavy tank. So it does at least turn on the spot quicker than the heavy tank. However, here's the thing that really makes the Jumbo tough to play as a medium. 1.4 hard terrain resistance. So the higher the number, the more sluggish your tank will be on that terrain. So it's 1.4 versus 1. So that's about a 40% difference between the resistance on the terrain, which is pretty bad. But it's also more than the M6. It's a lot more than the M6. So they've got the same top speed, and the M6 has a better power to ton ratio, and it has better terrain resistance. So the M6 is faster than the Jumbo. The medium terrain resistance is 1.5 versus 1.10, so the Easy 8's way better. And 1.4, the M6 is still better. 2.3 on soft terrain, and the Easy 8 1.7 is way better again. However, in this example, it's exactly the same as the heavy tank M6. So you can see the big problem with the Jumbo is its speed and maneuverability, which means you can't really play it like a proper medium. You kind of play it like a heavy tank, but its armor's not really as good as a heavy tank, and it hasn't got a gun that heavy tank's got. So it's got the M6 maneuverability, pretty much, or worse in some cases, but it hasn't got the M6's gun. So for me, if you want a tier 6 medium, you go the Easy 8. If you want a heavy, you go the M6. If you can't decide, go the Jumbo. The map is Hidden Village. We're in our tier 6 American medium, the Sherman Jumbo, and it's a tier 6 game, so we're top of the tree. However, the enemy team, their top 3 tanks are heavy tanks, and we don't have any top tier heavy tanks. We have a couple of TDs and me. We do have a T1 heavy, and that's our only heavy, a Tier 5 heavy. So, and there are lots of mediums on the other team as well. We've both got 3 Panzer 4Hs on our team, so I kind of have to do, or I feel as though I need to do the heavy tank role. So I haven't gone up the top straight away, but I'm heading up towards the top now. I want to take a location where I can make the best use of my gun depression and use the terrain for protection, and hopefully do alright. So I'm relying on our mediums and lights down the bottom there to hold off the other tanks, and I'm going up here to help out. Our Jag Panther's come up here as well, which is good because he's our top tier tank destroyer. I thought I saw a tank there, so I fire, and yes indeed it was a Panzer 4H. I'm pretty sure I actually did some damage to him there. Firing at the Churchill 7, I couldn't actually do any damage to him, and I noticed just up here there's a Panzer SFL. He's not pointing at me. You can see the accuracy is quite poor, 0.4 accuracy. We finally land one, and he does a runner. Panzer 4H though is caught in a bad position, and he moves back. Don't really want to get hit by the derp gun on the Panzer 4H, the howitzer, if I can help it. And someone else chimes in and kills him and finishes him off, which is good. So you can see they're attacking in quite strong force up here. I'm looking for that Panzer SFL again, and yep. Oh, I got shot by a Panzer 4H. But you can see that the armor on his tank's pretty good because it only did 11 damage to me. So the thick armor negating the howitzer gun there. Actually, that one goes into the Churchill. I was actually aiming at the VK, and then the Churchill was behind it and missed the VK and hit the Churchill. I'll take that. And we get one of the Panzer 4H there. And he makes the wrong decision and starts moving down. I can see there's a pair of them moving. So we get a few good hits into him. Oh, the Panzer SFL is looking at me. I try and get a shot in before he fires at me, and I get away with it. He fires and hits the wall. I'll fire another one just for luck. Just want to have a look. That's where the HE shell hit me, right there. So it hit us on our thickest part of our armour. So there's a VK trying to move into position there. He's caught in a bad spot. I'm panicking. I'm worried about this Panzer SFL. Oh, we set him on fire. Nice. Now the Panzer SFL actually bounced off our armour. Let's have a look and see where that was. Right there. Now I've noticed that was our thickest part of our armour. I noticed that we've collapsed down the bottom. We've got some tanks moving up, but I noticed on the map this guy was moving through, and I think he's going to kill our Arty. I'm worried about exposing my back, but I want to save Arty because I think we're going to need Arty. It's a T-34, bloody good tank, good medium tank, Tier 5. There he is, so hopefully we can stop him. It's a crit. I think we've tracked him. He might have repaired. We get one in. Good rate of fire on this tank. Get another one into him. You see I'm wobbling around all over the place because I'm trying to move at the same time. We get another one into him. Someone now is shooting me from behind, a 3601H, which is bad news. That's why I'm moving. You see my gun wobbling because I'm moving to try and avoid being shot in the back again. There he is. Now I'm trying to get my frontal armour to him. Fire a shot, don't know if it hits him or not, and then I try and get behind this building. I can see there's a big rock in front of me, so now I'm going for the rock. Now, in all that, we did actually manage to save Arty, so hopefully it was worth it. Hopefully Arty kills something. And there's the shot, you can see where it went in the back. So I can see this Tiger, so I think I'm waiting for the Tiger to come around the corner, because he's on low-ish health. I can probably pen the Tiger. It doesn't have very good armor, but I don't really want to go head to head because he does a lot more damage per shot. So I will sort of want to shoot him and then back off behind this rock again. But he's not coming out. He's a bit too smart. And then I see on my right on the map there's a Churchill. Right there. Damn. So he's come down. And now I've been hit by the Panzer 4H from the other side. He was firing AP, that Panzer 4. So the Churchill's taking care of our Arty. I'm trying to save Arty, but I'm too late. There's nothing I can do now. I'm going to take some shots at this Churchill anyway, using my gun depression. I hope I can get some shots in him. We get a nice one to the side there. Another one, we track him. And now I'm getting shot from behind by this Panzer 4H. So I decided I got to deal with him. I turn, try and turn my arm as quick as I can. He gets one to the side, and we managed to finish him. Now I'm going to line up again on this Churchill, see if we can try and finish him off. He's a bit of a tough customer. As you can see, I'm getting orange indicators there. I do get a little confused here because I get confused with the Churchill 7 and the Churchill 1. The Churchill 1 has a weak area around the gun. Oh, he gets a nice one in the front of me there. My armor is no good against the Churchill. He's got a very good penetration gun. So I bounce off his lower hull, so I go for the upper hull. I bounce off that. I try another one. He's penetrating me easily. Now I go for that spot where the gun is again. And it's no good. So yeah, I got confused. The Churchill 1 has a weak area around the gun, but on the Churchill 7 they fixed it, and it's not a weak area. And I just couldn't pen him. So that was a Class 1 game, and we also got high caliber. Let's have a look at the next screen. Unfortunately we lost though. We finished on top 4 XP in our team, and actually finished about 4th for XP overall, considering that wasn't too bad. So we did more damage though than anybody on either team. So we fired 37 shots, which is a lot. It is a rapid fire gun. We hit 27 targets and penetrated 18 of them. So most of those bounces were off that Churchill, unfortunately. We did 2,386 damage. 609 of that was from long range. We received 11 hits, 7 of them penetrate. So we did manage to bounce 4 shots, which is pretty good. We spotted 1. We damaged 7 tanks, destroying 2 of them. And look, the income was pretty good. 34,000 plus 4,500 for courageous resistance, because we did win the high caliber medal. And with the standard ammunition only I fired, and with all that, it ended up 29,000 profit. So it's okay profit wise. Not great, but it's pretty good. That was 662, but with the courageous resistance came up to 1,035 raw XP, which is enough for a Class 1 in this tank. I did not manage to get mastery in this tank, so I'm sure there's better players than me out there.
Let's get this show on the road.
The map is Steppes. It's a tier 6 game, so a top tier once again. Didn't have any great sort of tier 7, tier 8 games to show you. It just doesn't do that well, not just because the gun has trouble penning, but just because the armor doesn't work very well at those tiers, and the tank's not very quick either, so it sort of struggles a lot once it gets to that those tiers. Now, it's a pretty even matchup. There's a fair sort of spread of heavies and mediums and all that, so it's quite a fair lineup. Now, I've been playing a few games and getting absolutely slaughtered just recently, so I decided to stop being so aggressive. The tank is just too slow to be super aggressive. So I decided this time just to sit back in a snipe position and shoot some tanks before I bother trying to go out and really engage everyone. So got a Chaffee there. We miss him with that shot. We got him with 1. Can we get him again? Oh, I don't know if that hit or not. I thought maybe it hit. So the turret traverse isn't super fast, and I was having trouble keeping up with them then. As you can see, I'm sitting behind the bushes so that even when I'm shooting they can't spot me, but now I've got no one spotting for me. I actually have to move up and potentially do my own spotting. So as yet I'm pretty comfortable that I haven't been spotted. Wolverine in the open. Terrible accuracy, 0.40 is another drawback, so it's not a good sniping tank. That one goes true. And he's in a lot of trouble. Well, that was too easy. Wolverine is a very good tank in my opinion, tank destroyer, but not when it's in the open. It needs to be in cover and behind bushes and stuff. There's a Chaffee. I can't get my gun onto him in time. But I realise as soon as he comes around, he's going to spot me, and if there's any TDs, they're all going to be shooting at me, so I probably need to get off this hill. Oops, but there's a hetzer. Oh, crit, come on. So I'm moving forward again so I can get another shot on him. That one does go in, but now I need to get off this hill because I've been spotted. My sixth sense went off there. Luckily, nobody shot at me. In a tier 8 game, I probably would have been hit by about 4 tanks then all at once. But it's not a tier 8 game, so I can get away with it. So I'm going up now to meet this challenge because I've noticed that all of our tanks that were up here are now dead. There's the Hetzer. He's seen me, so I put a shot into him and then I get out of the way. Oh, there's a Chaffee. He's just hit me, but he bounced. So I'm keeping my armor slightly angled, but generally facing his direction. Another one there. So you see, I'm not facing him directly, keeping a bit of an angle. And now I go for the ram, and yes! Sometimes it pays to be heavy. A little bit of a downward hill helped us there. So he got that shot into us. I'm giving him too much for my side. So I re-angle now. It doesn't turn fast, this tank. Firing on the move, it was a miracle shot because it normally misses on the move, this thing. I get another one into him, now I'm going to go for another ram. I shoot him and yes! We only had 3 hit points left. Oh no, there's an AMX behind me, he puts a big shot into me. I get one into him. He's got a mark of excellence on his tank too, so I'm a little bit nervous about this engagement. Turning my tracks and my turret at the same time. I just fire clutch and a miracle hit. Now we've got the Hetzer coming up for us. Luckily, we've got great gun depression and a pretty good turret. He panics and backs away after he misses, and we get a shot into him. Whoo! It's all action here, folks. Now our base is being overrun from the other side. So both of our flanks have been lost. All we have left now is one artillery. The Su-85 is side onto me. As you can see, this gun wobbles all over the place while I'm trying to aim. It doesn't seem to move smoothly. I don't know what's going on, whether I've got a bit of lag or something. I'll get one shot into him now. I think, nah, they're coming out in the open. They've got clean shots at me. I've got to relocate. Now they've started capping. But if you look how many tanks they got on their team, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tanks against me. I'm guessing they're not going to cap. They're going to come after me. And here we have, there he is, Su-85. Damn, I've been spotted. We get one into him now. I'm worried about getting smashed by. I'm going to back off here. He missed. I hit him but didn't do anything. Oh, I hit his side. He moved forward at just the right time, the mongrel. I hit him a critical. I just hit his track underneath. No! I got another one into him. I've been hit from the side by somebody else. Come on, come on! He's gonna ram me! Ah! Oh! Just in time. He gets one into us though. Oh no, is that a KV2? No, it's a T150. I didn't have a chance. Oh well. So we lost again. Well, anyway, it was a class 1 game. We got high caliber again, and this time we got Top Gun. Yay! So we finished on top 4 XP on our team, but of course not on top 1 XP in the whole game because we lost. We did quite a bit of damage too. So we fired 33 shots, 26 of those were direct hits, so that's not bad accuracy really. And 19 of those penetrated, so penetration does lack on this tank. Damage of, what's that? 1898 is not bad. 676 from long range, probably mostly on that Wolverine, I think. Hits received 13, of which only 6 penetrated. So you can see that the armor at tier 6 holds up really well. Although not so much against the heavies. Hits, where are we here? We blocked 630 damage, which is nice. We spotted a vehicle. We damaged 6, destroying 6 vehicles. The income, including courageous resistance there, was not too bad. I didn't use any premium missions, so we didn't spend too much, and it came out pretty good profit margin. So with including the courageous resistance, comes up to 1,066 XP, which is class 1. So I'm guessing a mastery might be 1150, something like that. But yeah, as you can see with this tank, because it kind of does well with its armor, and it kind of is almost like a heavy tank, it's good enough at tier 6. The armor's good enough to hold up and make it a good tank to play. But tier 7 and 8, the armor doesn't mean anything anymore because they just punch straight through it. So it becomes a really slow, poorly maneuverable, low pen, medium tank, which is not much good. But when it's top tier, it's alright. Thank you for watching my review of the Sherman Jumbo. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more reviews, please subscribe to ReginaldESQ. Have fun!